I would used to like ship orders after class in my apartment in Boston. Like my friends know, like I was just always grinding on it.
You see, for Staycool's founder, Amin Adjmi, he's all about getting us to connect with a simpler time. A time in our lives where happiness meant watching cartoons, playing video games, and eating milk and cookies. Inspired by the vintage aesthetic of the past, Amin launched a retro-futuristic brand centered around nostalgia and positivity. Staycool has been featured in Hypebeast, Insider, and Complex. And don't be surprised to one day see a Staycool themed diner, motel, or even ice cream flavor.
There was this one store called The Good Company in the Lower East Side. Inside was just independent brands and stuff with unique graphics and different things in general. So it kind of opened my eyes to be like, wow, like people are creating things that are like unique and of their own. And I used to, as I said, go into thrift shops, and I was exposed to vintage clothing.
You took a liking towards vintage clothing.
For sure. Big liking towards vintage clothing for a while, for like 4 or 5 years now. It eventually tied into the aesthetic of my brand.
So during that year of BMCC, yeah, you're now a little bit exposed to,
sure,
to vintage clothing. You end up transferring to BU,
yes,
after 1 year. And then that's where everything changed.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Obviously, I wasn't in New York anymore. Was surrounded by new people, totally. So that's kind of where it all started, you know. And I felt when I was in Boston, I remember in the beginning, me and my friends would go like shopping around town and stuff like that, and I'd literally wear like the craziest things, or I'd wear whatever I want, because when you go there, no one knows you.
You're a guy that likes a piece that's one of one.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. And
you make that, you know, that transition in your head to, if I really love a one-of-one piece, yeah, I can make it.
For sure, for sure. I would always used to tell my friends in that first year at college that I wanted to start my own thing. I just had like this feeling that I wanted to do something on my own. As you said with the one-on-one thing, but just not having to walk into a store and hope for something that I want is there, or like look through the racks and be like, oh, I like this piece, why don't I just make it my own? So I remember originally I designed one sweatshirt for my fraternity at the time on this website called Custom Ink.
Did your fraternity ask you?
I think I just took initiative. I took initiative. They didn't ask me, but eventually they were always asking me, oh, do it, do it. But I took initiative, and I made like 12, I think at the time, and I just sold it to 12 people. And then they liked it, which was cool. It gave me some confidence.
So what did this was the fraternity's logo?
Pretty much, just like whipped it up, but it got my, I guess, creative juices flowing to go and be able to like design my own thing. That summer, I decided to go on Custom Ink again and make another shirt, but this shirt was my own shirt, so for me. Was thinking of a couple words that worked together, tried a bunch of different things.
Being like you know you want 2 different words.
I think I wanted 2 different words, you know. Thought of some initial words like stay dope, maybe I said, or like dope living, or whatever it was. It wasn't that cool. Then all of a sudden I wrote stay cool. Well, I found a photo of 2 people. It was like a guy and a girl, like a vintage retro style outfits they were wearing. Put that on the shirt. And then I found the word stay cool, and then I put the word people, because I guess they were in that vibe. The front of the shirt said retro. I pulled that also from Custom Ink. I made it for myself. Decided to text my friends, 10 to 12 friends at the time, whoever was around me, if they wanted to buy the shirt that I made. I think I just put the shirt on my bed and took a photo of it and texted it.
You sent it to friends.
Like 10 people bought it, or whoever. Some people didn't, which is cool. More and more people were like asking about it. Oh, it's so cool, it's so cool. It gave me confidence. You know, people were, I guess, attracted to it, what I made. So I decided to make another T-shirt, and one of like the second design, it said like vibe on it. I would just put a word there. And I remember like I designed it from a photo of me and my friends in like California. Like I took the sky of the photo and like cropped it out and put it on a shirt. By the way, just for reference, everything said Stay Cool in it.
Oh, everything said Stay
everything
Cool.
in the beginning said Stay Cool in it. Like the second one had like a snowman on it. The third one was like a Stay Cool with a wave. Very introductory.
But the first one said Stay Cool People. And you dropped the people.
I dropped the people and I just went with Stay Cool. And then I did a photo shoot in Jersey with my sister and her friend. I said, you know, let me just do a photo shoot with all these pieces that I have. Did a photo shoot, made an Instagram. This was like 2015, before, I guess it was a thing to have a clothing brand, I think. I don't know anyone that was doing it. 2015, as I said. People were caught off guard. Some people were like, what are you doing? Because it was such a new thing. Like, no one was doing that.
You would think of an idea, right?
Yeah.
An aesthetic. You put something, you were going to like a local printing guy.
That was in the beginning. So when I was figuring out, not the beginning, but figuring out how to even print a shirt. I didn't know what to do. How do I get a graphic onto a shirt? How do I even do something like that? That was when I first made that retro Stay Cool People. After that, when I was in Jersey that summer, I was thinking about, you know what, let me stop doing custom ink. Let me just find a printer. So I would go.
Custom ink was you would print it onto a shirt?
Custom ink is like it's an online service that you just like put a graphic and you drag it on a shirt, they'll send it to you. It's much different than going to a screen printer and doing it officially, having the graphic file and doing all that, but I didn't know how to do that. So I remember I was driving around town trying to find local printers in Jersey. I found some dude in Long Branch, and he helped me out. You know, I came in, I think, with a piece of paper with a graphic on it. I was like, how do we get this to be a thing? So he helped me out in the beginning. There was also a local embroidery shop that I went to. So I had to figure that out too, how to even print a graphic on a tee. But that's what I did in the beginning. But then I guess when I was in college, when I was in BU, I found local printers in Boston. I was local embroidery shops after class. Used to like take Ubers to them and just make stuff. Then by the time I graduated, I figured it out and how to do things a little bit more than before. So I kind of figured out all the steps on my own of how to work on my company.
You know, most of your friends probably weren't working on...
They weren't. While in college, you're saying?
Yeah, while in college.
They weren't working on anything.
Did you have the perspective of like, you know, it's interesting that I'm working on something all day and other people aren't?
Of course I had that. You know, I felt like I was getting a head start. You know, I'm grinding, I'm getting my stuff together, working on something, trying to lead towards a future goal, and everyone else wasn't, so it felt good.
Right.
I felt like I was getting a head start.
That mentality wasn't common.
No, of course not. I used to like ship orders after class in my apartment in Boston. Like my friends know, like I was just always grinding on it. It wasn't easy, a lot of ups and downs, figuring it out.
What was the turning point for you where it became not just a hobby, but you thought like this is a legitimate business that I could work on even after college?
Yeah. Graduated, and then I remember the first day I went to my dad's office and I was just sitting in my room that he gave me, and I was just like, what do I do? You know, I was like, how do I take this from being a hobby to a reality?
And it was just you?
Just me, not one other person. In the beginning, I thought like success was so easy. Like I wanted it to be overnight. I really did. I used to toss and turn in my bed saying, when am I going to be successful already? But yeah, it was only me. But I was very passionate and focused.
Meaning like you thought it was going to happen
I thought that it was going to happen quicker, but it's beautiful that it didn't, you know? I like how wherever I am right now, it just all came naturally, not forced. If I blew up overnight back then, I wouldn't know what I would do because I didn't have structure in place.
And then you hit a point where you realized it's probably better to build a team.
For sure. Definitely hit that point. Started searching, how am I going to build a team, who am I going to reach out to, and over time I built a small team around me, but I do still have the mindset that less is more in a way. I think I have an eye for what I think looks good, and luckily I guess I built a following that appreciates what I think looks good, which is cool. So I think it's dope that whatever I put out, they're kind of an extension of me too, my following. You know, they appreciate what I like.
How does it feel that people are wearing Stay Cool around the world?
It feels good, you know. I want to see them in person. I have bumped into people, which is cool, in the streets and stuff like that. usually say nice shirt. It usually gets like kind of, not awkward, but
You just say nice shirt?
Pretty much, because they might get a little caught off guard because I have to say, oh, nice shirt, and then they're like, oh, I made it. It's like, what? You know, it happens sometimes, but yeah, it's even cool seeing big celebrities wearing my stuff too. Like, that's dope, you know, having an artist that I like wearing my clothing. Last month, Justin Bieber wore my stuff. Like, that's cool, you know. I did a collaboration with Lil Dicky, the rapper, if you're familiar with him. So that was cool too. I've been a fan of him for a while. Been a fan of his music. He's been wearing my stuff for 4 years now. That's a pretty cool story. I was always interested in doing something with him because he's been wearing my stuff. So I decided to reach out.
He found your stuff on his own?
I was connected through a stylist, and I sent stuff through his stylist to him. But he's been always rocking it for a while, so I decided, you know, I want to make his merch. I want to collaborate with him. So I was trying to figure out how I would do so. So I did some research, DM'd him, messaged him, no answer, zero. You know, I always used to say, nice shirt. Hit up his manager, and then eventually, you know, I think his manager ignored me in the beginning and wasn't down or whatever, and then I just kept at it, and then we made a collection, which was cool. So that's shows that you got to be, I guess, determined when you want things. I really started ramping up the collections over the last 3 years or so. Our latest one in June was 35 styles, which is cool, 35 different styles, and it's not easy to build a collection, you know? To me, it's like when an artist creates an album, you know, they have to make sure every song is great. They go into like low-key mode for a bit, which I kind of tend to have to do because I have to hone in on things. But it's not easy. So this past June was the biggest collection we made, which is cool. Every year I tell myself I want to continuously grow. Like before 2020 started, I said this is the year that I'm going to really take it to the next level and continue to do that. And honestly, this year was very successful for me. You know, I must have grown like, I think 80K followers on Instagram. The numbers don't really matter, but it just shows that I did grow because I put my mind to it. And I do have future goals too for my company. You know, I'm not just trying to, obviously I love clothing, but trying to expand it into many different sectors, tying back into hospitality. I want to eventually take the brand and bring it into that field. And
a physical space, like a cafe or
something like that. Like I want to open up a Staycool lounge and bring the aesthetic of the brand and the identity of the brand and the colors and the nostalgia and the visual pleasure of it into physical locations. Whether it's a lounge, as I said, a diner, a cafe. Why can't I design the interior of airports? Why can't I create a mall? Why can't I create a hotel, a motel? Why can't I have my own cereal? You know, why can't I don't know, design a Staycool house? I want to do everything like that, literally, you know? Like those are my, maybe those goals also are like fueling me too. In the back of my head. I'm not limiting myself to just hoodies and t-shirts and keychains and rugs.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it.
Who do you want to collaborate with that you haven't yet?
I want to collaborate with Reebok. That would be dope. I'm talking to a beverage company. That's pretty fire. A drink that I like. I want to collaborate with things / people that I like. So those are my dreams. If I like the company, if I like this bike company, for example, I'd want to collaborate with them and put my own spin on it. If I like this candy, I'd want to collaborate with them. I basically want to put the Staycool spin on things that aren't clothing. I think that's unique as hell. Because you could collaborate with a clothing brand, cool. But if you collaborate with an ice cream company and make a Staycool flavor and people could taste and feel the brand, let's say, that's beautiful. That's dope. That's putting your identity on physical things.